Hey guys! So you've probably noticed from my recent videos that my nails are getting pretty grown out. Well, some of it's clear acrylic, but they're still pretty grown out. My nails don't grow very fast. So today we're going to go over proper removal because I want to go a little longer, so I'm taking them all the way off. Which you don't really have to take them off that often. You can continuously do fills even with color change if you're laying that base clear down. You can just continue to do fills. I mean, I know some people that just don't get them taken off at all. They just do fills over and over, which is perfectly okay. That's totally up to you. And the removal process is very damaging for your nails. So between the acetone and the drill. Also, let me clarify. I'm not saying this is the be all end all. This is the way that works for me the fastest, with the least amount of damage. This is how I do it. So like there are many other ways, lots of people do it different ways. This is just the way I do it and what works for me, I'm gonna share. So first thing we're gonna need, I got my smaller dust collector out. That's personal preference. You're gonna use your clippers. You're gonna need some acetone and either a soaking bowl or cotton balls and the little clips, whatever you prefer. A hand file if you want it. One of the little scrapers and cuticle pushers. Your drill and a coarse bit. Whatever coarseness you prefer. I have one of my super coarse ones. I recommend like a 2X is plenty for this. I'm also using my sanding band. These are the Pana sanding bands. These are a little more coarse than your average ones. These are the 180 sanding bands that most people use. These are 80 grit, so a little more coarse, not as good for smoothing, but great for removing wet acrylic. So first we're going to start by cutting them off. Now you don't need to use the tip cutters or anything. Regular clippers will work. You just want to get it by the side and get that clipper on there, and when you do that it's going to crack it all the way across, or at least most of the way. So you just want to get it down as low as you can, and this is going to make that removal process go a lot faster. Now see, that just broke it most of the way off. There we go. And we're going to do that with all of them. I'm just doing one hand for the purposes of the video to keep it short. See how they're just breaking. So what I like to do, whoa, that went pretty far. What I like to do is after I cut them down as much as I can, I then take my coarse grit file and file off as much of the acrylic as I can. And then I soak off whatever's left, and I soak it off for about 10 minutes, and then I file off what's soft and then soak it some more. And that kind of speeds up the process rather than just soaking it for a few hours. That can take quite a while. So, and you don't have to use your sanding band or your different bits. You can use a hand file for that part. It's all about personal preference. I will say with the drill, you do need to be careful because the acrylic is soft. So you want to get down to about the clear, almost to the clear with your coarse bit, and then turn your drill down after you start soaking it and just do it at about 5,000 RPM with the sanding band, and it'll take it off layer by layer. And then when you get down to the last little bit, you soak the rest off and scrape it. But it sounds like a lot, but it's actually, I've gotten it down to, between about 20 minutes to a half hour. So we will go ahead and start filing these off. Now, for this, you don't need, like I said, you don't need to use anything too crazy. I'm going to be using my 2X Pana bit. It is great for removal. It's not too much, but it's more than your regular coarse grit because they can take a little longer. Just be careful with it. Obviously, you want to turn it up a little bit so it's not skipping. And we will go ahead and get started. These are kind of loud, so I'm probably going to skip over this and speed it up for you. And remember, you want to be working down away from the cuticle with this. You don't want to go back and forth because it can cause your drill to skip. Let's turn this on.
Rope burn on your hand. Are you numb?
Now remember, you don't want to use this one close to your cuticle, the coarse bit, or close to your natural nail, just where it's really bulky at. Now we are down to the clear layer. So I am going to go ahead and get the rest of these down to the clear layer, and then we will come back and continue. Okay, so I got mostly down to the clear. Now with the 2X bit, I don't like to get all the way into the clear because that's how you can hurt yourself, so I get most of it. And then I like to switch to a ceramic bit. It doesn't have to be a coarse, it can be a medium, just to take the rest of that color off. And that's because once you get down that far, that's when you start feeling the heat from the metal bits. I actually don't even really need to. I can go ahead and start soaking now because it's a very thin layer, but just to show you what I mean. You can go ahead and just get that last little bit of color off the nail, and it doesn't take very long. Or if you are able to and want to, you can go ahead and take the rest of as much of the clear off as you can. This one's like a medium bit, so it's not super harsh, and this one's not going to heat spike the way the metal bits do. Like, it will get hot if you hold it in the same place for too long, but it doesn't hold heat the way the metal bits do. It doesn't stay hot. So, got all my color off. Now I am going to go ahead and use my little bowl, put just a little bit of acetone in, just enough to submerge this, and then I will show you how to remove that. I'm going to soak it for 10 minutes, and we're going to come back with the sanding band. Alright, I'm using 100% acetone because it's much, much quicker. And then we're going to use that 80 grit Pana sanding band when we come back, or you can use a natural file. I'll show you how to do that too. So we're just going to soak it for 10 minutes and then we start filing. Alright, so now you can see where it's kind of chunking up. So I have my sanding band. The reason you want to use a sanding band here as opposed to like one of the ceramic or metal ones is that this stuff is, you know, chunky and it kind of gets down in the grooves and it's hard to clean out, so just use a disposable one. So now you can take your scraper and try to take off as much of the bulk as you can, but this is just quicker for me. You can also use your file and that will pull off anything soft that's on there, and just keep filing it away until you get down to where it's hard again. Or your sanding band, you want to turn this down really low, like 3 to 5,000, don't go above that, and you'll see it kind of pull that up, and it gets rid of any little chunky bits you got there that have started to soften. Now you want to make sure you're moving this bit a lot because now we're down to where it's soft and you can get to that nail bed really quick, so you want to make sure you're moving it a lot while you're doing this. See, I'm most of the way through already, and you can kind of see where it's pulling up, where it's softening. So now once you get down to where it's hard again, you go ahead and soak it again, and you keep repeating that process just 10 minutes at a time until you've gotten rid of almost all of the acrylic, and then you can soak the last little bit off if there's anything left. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and keep repeating this process, and I will come back when we're down to the last little bit. Alright, now I'm down to my last little bit here. So I'm down to my natural nail. You'll see there's just a little bit left here, which you can either scrape off with the scraper, or you can use a buffing block to get that last little bit off. If you see that there's still more left, you can always dip it again. Totally up to you. And then just gently go over it with the fine side of your buffing block when you think you're all the way to your natural nail. And then treat your cuticles, obviously, because the acetone is pretty rough on them. And that is the fastest way I've found to remove acrylic. And there we go. So if you guys have any questions, comment down below. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.